My name is Philip from Belgium. This is part 1, the inner frame for the CO2 laser workspace 600 by 400. All the pieces we need are listed in this video. First we install the pillow bearings in place. We use screws M5 length 10 mm. Make sure that the flange part are in the same direction. So the 4 pillow bearings are now in place. These profiles have 6 mm threads. We use the screw M6 by 20 mm for this. Make sure that the head of the screw is certainly not too large so that it fits into the profile. We do this for the 4 sides. We also place the 4 allu corners . Now we can connect the 4 pieces together. In 2 profiles a hole is drilled so that I can touch the bolts. We fasten the 4 sides now. On with a square we control the corners of 90 degrees. fastening the 4 allu corners. So the base is ready now. You choose the type of linear rail yourself, but I use the MGN15 on the slide wagon MGNH15. The linear rail are with 3mm screws fastened to the allu profile. Watch out that the both sides have the same distance. We are going to assemble everything like the base frame now. The only difference is that there are now 20 by 40 profiles we use. Otherwise it's all the same. Here you have to put the flange of the pillow bearing down, not the side of the linear but the other side. And we also use the square to check the corners if they are 90 degrees. So the top base is ready now. Now we are going to attach the bottom and top frame together with the 4 profiles 20 by 40, the short ones and the big ones. So follow the video. Now I use 2 squares to check the 90 degrees from the frame and from the top. We do the same connection 4 times. Now we prepare the allu corners for mounting the upper parts. We mount now the upper part of the frame, but make sure that it is mounted parallel at the distance of the smallest profile. We use an extra piece to mount everything perfectly flat. Be sure to check all distance and they are mounted parallel to the other pieces. Now we mount additional allu corners as demonstrated in this video. We fasten all the corners well. Now I go over all the pieces again and show how they are mounted. Now we are going to prepare and assemble the X-axis. I use a linear rail MGN15 length 700 and a slide MGN H15. The way for the profile to attach to the slide, I use an aluminium plate of 4 mm thickness on a length of 50 mm and the width is 40 mm, in which the holes are drilled for fastening with the same dimensions of the slide. I use an extra profile to see if everything is mounted correctly. Now we can mount the X-axis. I slide it over the T-nuts and then secure it. Here I mount the plate for the third mirror and focus tube on the X-axis. Now we mount the profile 850mm to the back at the same distance of the x-axis. I show you now all the corners I use to fasten the profile to the frame. The profile should be flat to the other profile. Here I check the alignment on the left side of the profiles. The distance between the linear rail and the top of the profile should be at least the width of the second mirror and the width of the loose pulley holder. I mount now the 3D printed piece for the loose pulley. This has the width for a GT2 9mm belt. Push it against the rail and then fasten it. On the other side we mounted the stepper motors with the already mounted plates on 3D printed pieces. The teeth pulley I use is 30 teeth. Push it here also against the rail. Now we are going to assemble the toothed belt. The length is shortened when assembling the pieces. We attach the belt to the aluminium plate and then tighten the belt with the screws. I also check the movement and the tension of the belt if everything is okay. So now we're gonna mount the first mirror. For the first mirror I used a second mirror piece to use as the first mirror. So we mount the plates all the other side. Check if everything is square and attach them. Now I mount the second mirror on the x-axis, so we have the opposite of the first mirror. We push it against the loose pulley 3D printed piece. After that we checked that the two mirrors are at the same height and the same distance. Here we push the two mirrors to each other, and then we can check that everything is correctly aligned. As said before, we check that the two mirrors are correctly aligned, the same height and the same distance, so afterwards we don't have much trouble to align the tube. Now we're gonna mount the loose pulley on the y-axis, also with the 3D printed pieces, the two plates, the loose pulley for 9mm belts, T-nuts on everything, assembly together. On the top of the profile you have to file a bit away so that the hexagon nut go for the half into the profile, so you can descend the piece enough for the right height. On the opposite side of the y-axis we mount now the stepper motor with the stepper plate on a pulley with 30 teeth. The height we will adjust later when we put on the belt. For mounting the stepper motor I had to move the first mirror. Now I will put it back in place. We will now mount the 9mm GT2 belt on the 3D printed pieces. Mount everything to the y-axis and make the good tension on the belt. After this I will show how to make the 3D printed pieces and assemble them together. Before you fasten the 3D printed piece to the x-axis, move it from left to right so it's centered and then fasten the bolts. Here we're gonna now do the good tension to the belt, not too hard, not too soft, and you have to do that for the left and the right side the same. For security, we mount one little 3D printed piece on the x-axis, so we are sure that the belt will not get loose when working. Here I will show you now the assembly of the 3D printed piece with the belt. The belt you can cut on the size of your y-axis afterwards. I show you again all the pieces you need. The nuts, you need 5 millimeters, about a length of 18 millimeters. Then we have 3 millimeter screws, a little bit longer that you can cut afterwards. We have the 3D printed pieces. We have some 3 millimeters rod, the length of 60 millimeters. And then we have the nuts and the rest of the pieces. I use a drill to put 3 millimeters rod into the 3D printed file. I go far enough so that I can put a washer and a nut on the end, and we do that 2 times. Follow now the video for mounting the rest of the nuts on pieces. I fastened the belt on the other side only for demonstration how the piece is put together. So I show again all the mounted pieces on the frame, so you can check if everything is the same. Now we will assemble the bed for the CO2 laser. So we have 530 millimeters width on the y-axis and almost 658 millimeters for the x-axis. Secure all the profiles with the allu corners, one in the middle, two on the outside. So then is the bed frame ready for mounting. I used here a anti-backslash nut block T8, screw 8 mm, pitch 2 mm, with T8 rods of a length of 250 mm, then 30 teeth 8 mm hole. We need also a stepper motor 23 NEMA, the motor block mount, a belt of 2220 millimeters closed, then the 3D printed mount for the motor, and we need also the 3D printed for making tension on the belt. We lay down the belt, then we mount the pieces together as seen in the video. We do that 4 times. Watch out that the belt is around the teeth pulley on the 4 sides. I use small pieces of wood under the rods to have a minimum of 1 millimeter height of the table, so we don't have a friction. Use a 90-degree square to have the two pillow blocks at 90 degrees of the table. From the front is 110 millimeters to the pillow, and the same on the back side. Afterwards, if you want, you can correct them like you want. I put 4 supports so I can put the bed on it, so I don't have to hold it in the hand. As you see, the bed is almost to the front of the frame, and now I will mount the anti-backlash nuts. So you see I can move them easily, and now I will secure them to the bed with the T-nuts on the bolts. We do that for 4 times. Now it's time to mount the 3D printed motor block with 2 allo corners first, with the bolt and screw, and then we will secure it to the 2020 profile with the T-nuts on also bolts, and we will center the 23 mm in the middle of the frame. Now we have the 3D printed pieces for the tension of the belt. We put that with 2 screws and 2 T-nuts, 2 times. For the tension of the belt, we slide them inwards to the center till we have a good tension of the belt. I remove now the stands and do a little test with hand if the bed go up and down. As you see, we have the feathers, it's working, and now I'll show you that we can go up and down very easily. It should be smooth. We will do now an overview of all the pieces. So we have the linear rail on the y-axis, on the x-axis. We have the NEMA 23 with the belts, 9mm belts on all the sides. We have the belt tensioners. We have the stepper motors. We have the loose pulley blocks. We have the mirrors. 1 and 2 and a mirror 3. We have then the 23 NEMA stepper for the bed, the tension for the belt. We have a 6mm belt with a length of 2220mm closed. And then we have the bed frame inside, so it can move up and down. So that's for the frame. And we attach the frame to the table. Before you do that, make sure that you measure your table so that you can put later on the outer frame without problems. We have here the 3D printed tube holders that we're gonna mount now. They are 80mm. If you want a smaller tube like a 60 or 55 or 50, you can put some rings or soft rings inside to have the exact measurement. I will use now a test tube to see if everything is okay and then we do not have one problem. It's only for testing now. It seems all okay. And now we will mount the last pieces. That's the drag chain for the Y and the X axis. I use 10 by 10 millimeters inside, but you can use other ones if you want. I use also 2 aluminum L pieces for the support of the drag chain. So aluminium 20 by 30. I already made the holes inside to attach to the frame. One little square for the X axis, and then we have the bolts on the T-nuts to secure everything to the frame. Now follow the video as I show how to mount everything to the frame. Here is the drag chain for the X axis mounted. Now I will mount the Y-axis follow also the video. So the y-axis is also ready. Make sure that the movement is nice and good. And for the last time we will make a check of all the pieces. So that is the inner frame completely ready and mounted. I hope you like this video, and I'm very sorry for my bad English. I never have learned that at school, so I try to do my best. Thank you for watching.